Welcome to Stage 8 of the Critérium de Dauphiné. We have 3 survivors still at the front of the bike race after a very long and mountainous stage. Laura Duverne, Samuel Houdin, and Giovanni Canale are the final 3 of a much larger breakaway that escaped early in the stage. They've gone over several climbs, including the Col des Arvis and the Col de la Colombière, and they are now pedaling towards the Col de Jouplan, which is the hardest climb of the day. The race will go up and over that climb, down a big descent into Morzine, and then a final, more of a false flat than a real climb, up to Léger. And that is where the final destiny of the yellow jersey will be decided, because the top 3 riders are separated by just 8 seconds heading into the stage. Luis Sancho of AlphaTauri is the leader, Hippolyte Toutain of Kyoto in 2nd place at 7 seconds, and Jean-Marie Caillou of Euskaltel Euskadi is in 3rd place, 8 seconds behind Sancho. And on paper, it does look good for Luis Sancho because these shorter climbs are very well suited for him. He's a very explosive puncher in these types of finales. However, this climb of the Jouplan is very hard, and the stage has been very hard, so if things get out of control, it does not take very much at all for someone like Caillou or Toutain to end up in the race lead. So a lot of points at stake just on this one stage because it's the final stage, and the final GC offers the most points in these stage races. So the managers of the team watching with a great deal of interest here. Of course, I think a lot of people will be rooting against Hippolyte Toutain today because nobody wants Kyoto to score even more points. So perhaps we'll get the upset by Jean-Marie Caillou. Euskaltel Euskadi have riders at the front of this peloton. So too does the Hackett team. So Manuel Navarro has had a tough couple of days. I think we expected more, but he is still going to try and win the stage. But in the meantime, Samuel Houdin has been dropped. No surprise, he's not a very good mountain climber, and that leaves Duverne and Canale to battle one-on-one. And these two have scored a lot of points in the King of the Mountains jersey today, especially Duverne. She's won most of the climbs. She's been sprinting for all of them throughout the stage. And she may end up winning that jersey overall, despite having almost no points at the start of the stage, just by scoring on all these different categorized climbs. So that is another competition to watch with interest because Jean-Marie Caillou is the current leader in the King of the Mountains jersey. He could lose it because a lot of riders are not very far away. 5Ks from the top now of the Col de Jouplan, and it's just been tempo making all the way up. Not very exciting racing, but these teams and riders know that with such low margins of error, the slightest mistake could cost you a win in the Critérium de Dauphiné. So no one wants to go too early, overcook themselves, and not give themselves a chance at the very end. So it could come down to an uphill sprint on Léger, and that would really seem to favor Luis Sancho. But in terms of the stage win, the gap to the final leaders in the breakaway was over 7 minutes at the bottom of this climb. It is now under 2 minutes with 2 kilometers to climb. So it's really gone down. It's going to go down further because we're getting an attack by Ibai Leida, who's in 10th place overall. Too far behind to try and win the race overall. A very dangerous rider on a stage like this because he's well suited for the finale. And he wants to try and win the race alone or to set something up for Hippolyte Toutain. Wilmer Rodriguez can't really chase anymore. Luis Sancho just sitting at the front. Canale is attacking for the mountains points. And he will take max points over the Jouplan. Trying to put Duverne under pressure. They really need to take this descent very seriously because their advantage is only a minute now. And dare I say, they need to work together if they want to give either of them a shot at the stage win. But Canale is attacking Laura Duverne. And this rider is not a very good descender, so she'll have to work really hard to stay with Giovanni Canale. And behind them, a group of 7 has emerged over the top of that climb of the Jouplan. I don't know what their gap over the rest of the riders is, but we'll we'll see if those three contenders are all there together. Luis Sancho is there because it's showing the yellow jersey. Canale is putting on a good show of descending here because he's opened up a gap of 13 seconds over Laura Duverne. She just needs to stay in contention and put in a big effort at the bottom of this descent, and she can grapple back into the wheel. That'll take a lot of energy for an uphill finish, and after a long day in the breakaway, that is not an ideal situation. Canale's lead over that chase group of 7 riders, including Luis Sancho, is still just around a minute, so he gained almost nothing on the descent. Into a very short valley now, Duverne has got her way back up to Canale. That group of 7 leads by 53 seconds over another chase group of 11. So we'll see if our observer can get back there and show us what's going on. But Canale and Duverne have started this uphill to the finish, under 5Ks to go. They lead by 50 seconds, but it's coming down really fast. Something's happening behind. It's showing an attack by Manuel Navarro, so I think these two can't win the stage. They've been swept up by Navarro. Sancho is here. Ling Shin. Caillou is here. I don't see Hippolyte Toutain. And Caillou's attacking Luis Sancho. This is the big move. Or is it he sat up a little bit, just doing tempo? Light is here, Canale. I do not see Hippolyte Toutain, so he has been dropped. The Dauphiné is down to the sprint in the final K. Caillou's going to start it first. Leading from the front. He's not going to win the stage. Lyda has passed him. Kelvin Moore has passed him. And Moore is going to win the stage for Natalia. But we're interested if Caillou's going to get a gap here. He gets 3rd place and a time bonus. Sancho has been washed away in this sprint. If time gaps hold at the top with this false flat, he will have lost 14 seconds to Jean-Marie Caillou. And that is a decision to be made by the race referees. So at the end of stage 8, in terms of the live viewing, we still don't know who's going to win the Critérium du Dauphiné, because on time bonuses alone, Caillou only gained 4 seconds, and that would leave him 4 seconds short. So with suspense, we're going to take a look at the stage classifications and sort out what happened once and for all. Your stage winner is Kelvin Moore, 2nd place Ibai Lyda and Jean-Marie Caillou in 3rd. They are each given the same time. Chung Ling Shin is in 4th place at 8 seconds, Carlos Nello at 5th in the same time with Giovanni Canale. Luis Sancho was 7th place, he was 14 seconds behind with Manuel Navarro. Laura Duverne 8th at 24 seconds, and Yevgeny Balashkov 10th place at 30 seconds. And Duverne was 9th, the number's a bit mixed up from all these calculations. But that number crunching ceases now, because here is the final general classification for the Dauphiné. The time gaps given at the finish give Jean-Marie Caillou final victory. Well, after stage 6, it looked like he had no chance at all, but things really changed in a hurry, and Yevgeny Balashkov had a lot to do with that. But Caillou has made a great comeback, and on the final day, he has taken the race lead and will win the Critérium du Dauphiné. And that is a big relief for Euskaltel Euskadi, because they've had a really tough time in the past few races. Luis Sancho has to settle for 2nd place at 10 seconds. Very closely matched, but in the end just faded in that final sprint. Strange how it all came down to a 1 kilometer uphill sprint. Hippolyte Toutain takes 3rd place, 37 seconds behind. Kelvin Moore, your stage winner, in 4th place at 41 seconds. Rode a very consistent race. Manuel Navarro in 5th place at 1 minute 34 seconds. Carlos Nello in 6th place. Rodolfo Lucci 7th. Chung Ling Shin made the best of a bad start. Ends up in 8th place with a stage win. Ibai Lyda is 9th, and Ilyana Pavlova really faded the last 2 days. She will take 10th place. In the final points classification, where the top 5 riders were separated by 7 points at the start of the stage, and in the end Jeroen Moikin survives after not scoring a single point since stage 2. With his 45 points, held off Luis Sancho to win the green jersey. Had Sancho performed better on the stage, he would have won the Dauphiné, and he would have won this as well, but it was not meant to be. Adrian Bernard is 3rd, then Deshay and Stephenson round out the top 5. In the final King of the Mountains classification, Jean-Marie Caillou is the winner with 37 points. Laura Duverne, with her great breakaway today, will take second place, Canale third, then Manuel Navarro and Rodolfo Lucci. And finally, in the team classification, Kyoto overhauled a big deficit to Natalia at the start of the stage to win by just 4 seconds. So despite Natalia winning the stage, it all depends on when the third rider on the team finishes. That's how these calculations work. Euskatel Euskadi get third place, Hackett fourth, and AlphaTauri in fifth. Well, if you're manager Dizak, I can only offer my sincere condolences because it really looked like you had it won in stage 6, and then you didn't, settling for second place. And Yevgeny Volashkov went from first all the way down to 14th at the end of stage 8. So that was a bit of a disaster for the AlphaTauri team. We'll see if they can recover in the upcoming classics. But Euskatel Euskadi will celebrate their great win with Jean-Marie Caillou, and then probably go back to scoring no points in the classics, because that's how it tends to go with that team. So after this race and all the digesting and discussions, and what could have been with Yevgeny Volashkov, we have 3 more classics to get through, including another monument race. So a lot of points on offer for the teams of the one-day races before we get into our first Grand Tour. So the season really heating up now with the top teams. We'll have an update on the standings before the next classic begins. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for the rest of Season 4.